Okay, so our booth is here, and across the lane is that. It's a Horizon Motorsports Trans Am. It's a father-son project. Imagine having a senior project like that. These guys, I guess their shop specializes in Reynard, the 90s to early 2000s, and it has been a swarm of people around this car the entire show. This poor photographer Frasima has been standing here waiting for a solid 30 minutes just to try and get a shot. But earlier yesterday, I took a picture of it. The father and son were standing on the splitter and the wing over here, just displaying the strength and stiffness of the entire aerodynamics package on this thing. It is really an impressive build. I'll try and, oh, you're good, man. I'll try and get a little bit closer here in just a second, but also not getting in the way of everybody else. Okay, so this is called the Hammerhead, and the amount of detail that has been done on this is just really amazing. Now, of course, you're gonna look in the front of this engine bay and go, ain't got no engine. But if you look really, really close, back there tucked into the firewall is actually the engine. It's very, very nice. For you guys that know our friend and customer Target Truck, he's tucked his LS engine all the way back into the firewall in a very similar fashion. It helps out with the balance on this and also on his truck, but just kind of go over some of the details here, because of course a few days ago I had posted on my own Facebook page that the father and son were standing on the splitter and the wing. They're able to generate over 1,000 pounds of downforce on this, so it should be able to handle the body weight of a human. And this thing is really cool. All the little gusseted holes across the front, everything is ducted out of the radiators with puller fans. And so you notice on the coilovers here, these are all horizontally mounted, and it's a push rod style suspension here. So you also have a heave spring or a helper spring, and so these are a little bit different. This is something you wouldn't normally see on a street car, unless you guys have spent a lot of money and got yourselves a supercar, or actually hypercar nowadays. But look at all the tubing, everything is very nicely reinforced. And then also, if you see right here, I'm going to zoom in real quick. You see the blade? That's a blade right there that you can use to adjust the stiffness on all of this. And so that is manually adjusted. I believe there's a cable that will, yeah, okay. At the very, very front of this, there's a cable that runs all the way into the cockpit. And so the driver can actually manually adjust the stiffness front and rear on this car to help dial in the handling. So maybe they're going around and it's pushing a little bit up front, they can soften it. Or if they want to tame down the rear end, they can soften the bar in the rear. It's a really nice little setup. Some classes don't allow you to make any changes like that from within the cockpit, but this one does. And of course, everything has got piggybacked reservoirs. This is an LSA block making over 300 horse, but it's built for boost. That's done by LME. And so of course, if you look in here, look at this cockpit. This is the business end of it all. Okay, so once again, all the gussets on the cage, everything is nice and tied in. You also have our friends that I can't afford, but that's a Motec M150. So all you guys that are chanting M1 Army, here you go. That is a beautiful setup. And of course, the charge pipes. Charge pipes are running into an LME billet intake that you cannot see because it's all tucked in under the dash and the firewall, but it's just freaking cool. Quick time bell housing, everything runs to the rear. Looks like you've got a torque tube, so probably I haven't been able to see just yet. But yeah, you have your transmission, your transaxle back here. Okay, more push and pull coilover setup in the back. You've got your NACA ducts, which run down into our little friends Garrett turbos. G35 900, they're mirror image turbos. Can't really see them as good here, but I'll move over to the other side that has some light. Excuse me. But yeah, so down right here, I hope this doesn't freak out on me, but down in here, there we go, is the turbo, one of two. So you've got the Garrett wastegate and a Garrett turbo. Like I said, G35 900, so it's supposed to do somewhere close to 1800 to 2000 horsepower. And this is really a cool setup. So the NACA ducts feed back into a cooling plenum on the back of the brakes, which is really nice. And of course, this giant scoop Ram Air 6 is beautiful. It comes down and feeds down into the turbos. You got cool air coming in that's all rammed in. So you've got it right here, and that goes down into the turbochargers, which of course goes forward through here and into the engine. Now of course also you'll notice this is one of my favorite dashes. This one and the Fuel Tech Vision. So this one, of course, is a C1212. Yeah. So this one is a unique Motec dash. It's a very, very wide dash. And also, what's really cool is something that I had noticed on a different car that has this one built into the dash on a race car. That you can actually have a rear view or front view camera tied into this, and you can actually have it inset in the screen while still having your dash display. And that is actually what they did. They ran a rear view camera. You can see everything routed here. And so in the keyhole, there's your loser cam. So you can see anybody that's behind you that's not able to keep up, or if you're trying to back yourself into the pits or anything else like that, you got a camera there as well as up front. But also look at this split plane wing by Verus Engineering. So you've got dual level, but of course it's open right here. So you got a little bit of dialing in for the adjustment on the downforce. Big fat sticky Michelin slicks all the way around. Okay. Yeah, Brembo rear brakes. And then look at this as well. So you've got cutouts in the fenders, front and rear. You've got a lot of extraction air through the front because you've got a lot of cooling that's built in. You can see that brake hat for all the cooling of the brakes. And then you have vents that run out here. Can't see them as well, but they run out the big wide rear of this car. And then this massive diffuser runs all the way through up before the rear axle. It's just an absolutely bonkers build all the way around. Okay, you got your fuel cell, everything else is built in. It's very, very nice all the way around. Still, they said that they still have some finishing to do before this hits the track. Okay, like I had said before, on the sway bars, or for the front springs on the stiffness, those are the levers that you use for tightening or loosening. So that way you can adjust the handling characteristics of the car and dial it in just from the seat without having to get out of the car and make any adjustments. So really, really a beautiful build all the way around, and just bonkers. He said that they're going to be running this at Grid Life once it's all together. I'd love to be able to make a trip out to that one, but that's it. Tell us what you think on this one.